Welcome to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Get ready to revitalize your mind, body, and soul. We're here to inspire women who are looking to break free from old patterns and ideas to create a life of increased confidence and improved health. Say goodbye to limiting beliefs and hello to new possibilities. So kick back, get ready to have some fun, and let's dive in. We'll uncover tools and insights that can help you build a life that's truly nourishing, body and soul. Hey, welcome to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. I'm Tracy.
And I'm Victoria.
And we're really glad that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you about, and I know better than this week. I was at lunchtime having, I often will have just a little bit of something sweet after lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So I was home and I was reading, and it was a good book, and I didn't want to stop reading, and I had cookies in the house. So instead of having one or two cookies, it's like, well, there's only two more. So I had four, and I'm not talking cookies, I'm talking, cookies.
Oh.
So I had 4 cookies after lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and I paid the price later. It's like, I am now uncomfortable. They tasted good, but I'm uncomfortable.
So it's not intuitive.
It wasn't. It was
not intuitive.
No, it was not intuitive. It was, I just want more and I want to keep reading. So I'm just going to give myself an excuse to keep reading, and I'm going to keep eating these because they're just tasting good.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a good thing. I know better than that, but what ifs?
Yeah. Well, I know better. But I went to the dentist and I had like some things done, like I had to have a root canal, and it was really painful. And so I was lying on bed because I was in pain, and I was thinking, maybe I'll lose weight. About this being so painful is I won't be able to eat very well for the next few days, and I'll lose weight.
Hello, diet culture, my old friend.
Thank you. You've come to talk to me again.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I know better, but that is what I thought.
Yes.
It didn't happen.
As we pointed out before, it's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Yes.
Our habits and our thinking don't automatically change themselves.
No. Sometimes you get drawn into the thickets.
Yes.
For I don't know what.
For thickness.
Or you know what you're doing. Well, you go to thickets here to pick blackberries.
Yeah.
Fresh blackberries. The thickets. They
Yes.
grow by our roads and like huge.
But they scrape you up when you go in.
Yeah, oh, they're thorny.
There's a price to be paid.
Yeah, but the perfect blackberry is worth the price.
Mm-hmm. Once a
Yeah.
few scratches on the arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're diving into something today that is super important. It is not kidding. This is where your magic is. It's where the sparkle, it's where your power lies. This is where the magic really happens. And we're talking today about nourishing our soul. For those of you who are spiritually oriented people, that's not going to be an uncomfortable term, but there's whatever you want to call it, your soul, your inner you, your essence, name it what you want. But this is part of us that we need to take care of too. We haven't talked about this yet. And it really is, I believe, the most fundamental thing that we can take care of, because we may go through periods of time where our health is not good. And so we can't exercise or move the way that we want to,
Mm-hmm.
or we may not be able to eat in a way that we want to because of so many circumstances, finances or health or whatever. And so those are things that can kind of come and go. But one thing that we can always do, no matter what our circumstances are, is we can do things to nourish our soul. And when we do that, that's where we really come to a life that really feels right and feels fulfilling to us. So
I was looking up stuff
Mhm.
for this. I was surprised how many different studies have been done that say, yeah, your mental health is better, but like your physical health, like all kinds of studies for your heart and for your, it's not going to cure cancer, but like things like that, that it really
impacts
like paying attention
everything.
to the spiritual side of of life, of
Mhm.
existence, it really makes it like a legitimate difference.
Yeah.
So
In,
anyway,
yeah. Yes.
there we go.
Impacts all. That's why this is a big part of where the magic happens. And specifically where your magic happens, because when we're talking about soul, we're talking about who we are at our very center, who we are at our core. And it's really easy when we get in the thick of life and, adulting and all the things we have to do, to forget that, to nourish that. Why is adulting
I
fun?
don't know. It just doesn't, it's like, yeah. Okay. Okay, boomer.
Adulting is not a boomer term, it's a millennial or younger term.
Because it's like, I don't know. It's edit this out.
No, I'm not going to.
Make
You
fun of
see,
you.
she's making fun of me.
Yes, I'm sorry.
But I can
Edit
take
out.
it.
I
no,
don't want them
I'm
to
not
know I
editing
make
it
fun
out.
of you. Yeah.
Well, of course you do, because we're friends.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how we operate.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. That's true. So
yes,
anyway,
but I can
adulting.
handle her teasing because I've nourished my soul.
Yes. Yeah.
I felt-
Sorry.
I feel strong and confident.
You were just being too serious. It's very hard for me to be serious. It is difficult.
That's good. That's why
difficult.
it's comic relief.
Yeah. Oh, honey. I just wish I were funnier. Anyway,
you're plenty funny.
all right. As long as you think so, that's all.
Okay, so
Nourishing our
obviously,
souls.
yes. So just really briefly, and these are
Laughter.
things you probably know.
Laughter
Yes,
is part of
yes.
nourishing your soul.
It
A
is.
huge part.
It is. It is. If you can't remember the last time you laughed until you cried, notice that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So several things that happen when we take time to do this. Emotion really impacts our emotional resilience, because life is going to happen. Life happens to all of us, and it's not always fun. But to be able to be emotionally resilient, be able to handle that, this taps into that. It touches that all over. It can unlock our creativity, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, because there may be some of you who are thinking, oh, but I'm not a creative person. Yes, you are. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah,
Everyone is.
everyone is. It can enrich relationships, because when you are more fully yourself, then obviously you have more to bring to the table for other people. And it helps us be more intuitive and compassionate and all the good things that we really are that sometimes get lost.
And having those relationships is also,
Yes.
that's part
Yeah,
of it. Like
yeah.
that's a key metric
Yeah.
for nourishing your soul. See, this is my problem. I have key metrics for nourishing your soul. One of them is relationships.
There you go. Yep, there are metrics, and we'll talk about those, how to do this, how to tap into this in just a little bit. It really, doing this helps us access inner peace. And I think, okay, laugh at me now, because you're going to.
No.
Beauty pageants, and world peace. It's like world peace comes from inner peace. That's where it comes from. That's the only place it can start.
That is why we don't have world peace.
If we had a world full of people who were at peace,
yes,
guess what?
Yes.
So it really can do it. Nurturing and nourishing our souls really takes us to that place of inner peace.
Yeah, trying to quiet. Just have a quiet moments. Like really. So I've been reading research like all week because we were going to do this, but they were saying like people who live in cities who have all the noise and everything around them have a shorter lifespan than people who live where there's not noise all the time. And that's how important having some moments of silence and finding that, and either finding that within ourselves and silencing this part of us and just dealing with whatever is out there, or finding quiet places.
Also, when I was just before my 9th grade year, my parents divorced, and I wanted to finish at the school I was at. And so my mom would take me to a friend's house but no, no, it wasn't just ninth grade. It was more intense in ninth grade, but starting in seventh grade, I walked home from school. I walked home from school always before that too, but I lived literally 4 houses from the school. 4 houses across the street, I was at school. But when I was in junior high, I had to start walking home after school, and it felt like a long way to me. It was a mile, but it was a mile with, before iPhones and having 1,000 songs in your pocket. And so it was a mile of silence every day at the end of my school day that I was just walking home. And I didn't think much of it then, but then in between my 8th and 9th grade year, my parents divorced, and I was finishing up at that school because my junior high was a 7, 8, 9 school. And so and with the divorce, we moved 3.5 miles away from the school. And so I was riding, excuse me, the city bus home from school for part of the school year. And then they went on strike. So I ended up walking home every day after school, 3.5 miles. And that was, at that age, a long way to walk. And again, every day after school, just that time quiet to myself. I now, a couple of years later, the older I get, the more I realize what a valuable time that was to just have that. It was quiet time by myself. And yeah, there were cars going by, but it was just me and my thoughts every day after school. And that really made a big impact that I'm now grateful for. I wasn't always grateful for when I was walking home in the rain or 100+ degree heat, but it really has impacted my life in ways that I had no clue it would.
So I have to have something going, like just
the ADHD brain.
Yeah, it really, like, if I am just left alone in silence with my thoughts, it's like monkey mind all over the place, So I do have to have, like, even when I write, I have to have something going on in the background so that I can just kind of like go within myself. So I know that's not, if you look up how to meditate or how to find inner peace, nobody's going to say, hey, watch the British baking show and then and sit on your bed and like attempt to find peace. No one's going to say that that's the way to do it, but if I have to sit in silence, I cannot do it. Like, maybe if I practice by every single day, like increase it minute at a time, maybe, but if it's too quiet, my mind is too much. So
yeah. So
different
ADHD,
ways.
yes,
Different
ADHD
ways.
People,
whatever way works.
Yes.
Like find and search and whatever way that works.
To get that inner peace.
Yes.
Because I promise that when we do this, when we cultivate our own inner peace, it cannot help but affect our world around us.
Yes.
And so we will be building world peace in our own little world when we do that. And it helps us to live with more of a sense of our purpose.
Why are you pretending to be a pageant girl?
No, it's always world peace.
I don't anymore. We have this. If you were in a pageant, I fully understand that you guys don't go out there and talk about world peace. They're smart women out there.
I'm not accusing. It's just the standard joke. Okay. You said we needed a joke. That's a standard joke. No offense intended.
No.
Ask Sandra Bullock. Have you not seen Miss Congeniality?
Yes.
Okay, then.
Yes.
That's just referencing that.
All right. Just teasing. Yes. Sorry. So I'm spunky today.
Yes, she is.
Sorry.
Which is what we like. So how do we do this? How do we go about this? Yes, these are wonderful things that come from it, obviously, but how do we do that? The first way, or one of our 5 things is to practice mindfulness, be that meditation, be it however works for you. For me, prayer is a wonderful way to get in, just tap into that real inner place. And so whatever, but mindfulness, meditation, you're saying that,
reading things,
quiet meditation does not work for the ADHD mind. But
also, like, reading things like, you talked about reading, like, I know you, so I know that you read like scripture, you read the Bible and scriptures and things. And I was just thinking today how much poetry has such a huge impact on like my, just my well-being and things like that. So, also finding something like that is tangible that you can turn to and go, okay,
Yeah.
I'm having a crap day. You know, I'm going to look up Mary Oliver, or I'm going to read John 13 or whatever.
Mhm.
That's a good chapter, huh? I did good there.
There you go. So that however gets you into that, just that quiet place. Oh, we just went to Monterey recently. I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Being at the ocean, I can be as stressed as I've ever been. I go to the ocean, I can literally take one, maybe two breaths of that ocean air and hear the waves. And it's just like, okay, I'm back to me.
Like my
I'm
soul.
back to me.
It's my soul, like, really does just relax. I mean, I just feel it when I get to the ocean. I just feel my soul just go, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever gives you that kind of clarity, we're just calling it mindfulness and meditation. It comes in a lot of forms.
Yeah.
So, but whatever works for you for that. And then being creative. And if you're a person who thinks you're not creative, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you need to watch it because she's full of the faces today.
It's funky here. I'm like drinking
your water,
my cucumber water. Talk about mindfulness.
You're fancy today.
Yeah, my spa water.
Yeah,
they had spa water here at the farmhouse.
We did. But I think about, first of all, let me tell you a story of my
being
friend.
Creative. Yeah.
Yes, being creative. And if you think you're not a creative person, think again. And if you do think you're a creative person, but you haven't created in a while, do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again. Even if it's only 5 minutes. You know what that feels like to your soul. And maybe you've been missing that. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, like, when we're talking about being creative, like my mom always says that she is not creative. And she is incredibly creative. In her mind, creative is, I can draw pictures, you know, like I can sketch.
I can paint, I can sing, I can dance.
Well, it's not even I can sing, because she can sing. It's like,
it has to be
drawing. I'm like,
drawing or painting.
It's not like the only thing. Like, everybody has some creative thing. Like, if you feel like doing Wordle, like that stuff is creative too. Like, just activating your mind. You know what Wordle is, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. You looked at me like I was kind of cuckoo. Which maybe, who knows? Anyway, but I'm just saying, like, there's all kinds of ways to be creative. Like, I'm gardening now.
Oh,
I know. I planted tomatoes, 2 tomato plants that are heirloom tomatoes. And I did not know, because my mom's planted tomatoes before. My family has, my dad, but they've not planted heirloom tomatoes. And heirloom tomatoes are indeterminate. I know, I learned this, meaning they don't stop growing. Like regular tomatoes have a certain number and they stay. This has been everywhere, or exploded our entire, like,
but do you have tomatoes?
Yard? Tons. Yeah, tons of tomatoes. We've already
been holding out on me.
Well, they're green,
okay.
But they're so big. Like, I put them in a cage, like you're supposed to, but the tomatoes are so big. I've had to take like really hardcore Velcro and like Velcro the stems of the tomatoes to the wire of the cage. That's how big. Like, so every day I go out there and I'm like, hey, tomatoes, how are you doing? Because I don't know, I don't have any pets. So I talk to my tomatoes, and I've got to prune, and there have been worms, and I've had to figure that out. And there's been a whole like figuring out system. And the thing is, like, when I planted them, like, they're like this big, and I thought, this ain't going nowhere. Like, I know me, like, I know that this is not, but it's turned out to be a really creative endeavor just because I have to go out there and go, okay, this is a new looking thing. What in the heck is this? And then I go and I'm like, oh, that's worms. All right. But it's not big worms, it's small worms. And just random things, not having them be sunburned, all kinds of things.
Gardening, you are literally facilitating the growth of a living thing. That's really creative. That's really creative.
Yeah. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. So I know. Look at you.
I know.
It's not just about the writing.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I don't know. There's me saying I'm sorry. Like I said we were talking last time about me and my I'm sorry things.
No.
Anyway, sorry for talking.
So a friend,
Was
a
moving.
friend in
on.
high school, this beautiful, beautiful singing voice. Like she recorded a demo for a show that was trying to get on Broadway, kind of beautiful singing voice. Well, I hadn't.
She has
met-
an unbelievable voice. She has an unbelievable singing voice.
Not compared to my
Gorgeous.
friend.
Don't be, there's no
No.
comparison. No, there's no
Yeah,
comparison.
no, it's-
Don't be creative like that. That's comparison. There's somebody who has a voice that sounds like this and someone who has a voice that sounds like you. There's no other voice that sounds like you. You
This
have a
is true.
beautiful voice. Stop.
No, I'm not saying my voice is bad. I'm saying she's like
But
professional level.
what I'm saying is, so are you. Anyway, what I'm saying is, like, don't compare your creativity to somebody else's.
No, I'm comparing hers to hers is what I'm doing here. But
Well, yeah.
anyway,
Okay, go.
she this gorgeous, gorgeous singing voice. I hadn't
Mhm.
seen her in years since high school, and then one day we caught up. Gosh, it was probably decades after high school, 15, 20 years. And so I asked her if she was still singing, and she said no, she wasn't. But she didn't say this, but I knew this prior to meeting back up with her. She makes this wonderful goat's milk soap. It's just
Goat's milk soap?
Yes, goat milk soap, and it
this
smells
country?
wonderful.
This is country.
No, she lives in Sacramento. She's a Sacramento person.
That's kind of
But-
country. A little bit.
She a city girl, but anyway, so she makes this soap now, and it's wonderful. I bought some of her soap. It smells wonderful, and the texture is great, and it's a creative thing. She's creating this really awesome, nurturing, nourishing kind of product. And when she was saying she wasn't singing anymore, I said, well, but it's wonderful that you're exercising your creativity in another way. And she kind of looked at me. I said, well, you're making your soap, and she's like, oh, that's not creative. And I was like, you're literally creating something that didn't exist before. You're combining elements and ingredients, and you're making something that was creative. But in her mind, because she
So it's like
is an artist, a
Yeah.
performing artist, the soap creation was not creative.
Yeah. Well, it's like my mom. There's a certain things that are creative and some
Right.
things that aren't.
Right. If what you like creating is spreadsheets, that's creative.
Yes.
If what you like creating is a beautiful home or a clean home, that's creative. So like there's creativity takes all kind of forms.
Mhm.
And we are, every one of us, inherently creative beings.
That's why, like, even when I was saying just about Wordle, because whatever, it's like, I don't know, 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe who knows how long it is for you, depending on your starting word. But like, what that's doing is it's taking you to a place that's not like the world. Like
Yeah.
it's carving a little spot out for you that's just a quiet thing for your mind to just go someplace that's not you're not worrying about the things like we were talking about. You're not worrying about your family or your cleaning if you're not creatively clean,
If cleaning doesn't
you're
nourish your soul.
you're not cleaning in rainbows. But have you seen Home Edit? They're super they are super creative cleaners. You can Home Edit. You can see them on Netflix.
Okay.
Anyway, they clean in rainbows.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just
find your creativity and if it's hopefully something you kept in touch with, but remember what that feels like. And that is a huge way to nourish your soul. And then to soak up nature.
Are you not going to talk about?
Oh,
You're not going to talk about
okay.
your singing?
I can tell that story. The way for me, I was a musical theater major when I was first in college many years ago. And I've been in college multiple times, and I have so many credits that are in so many different areas. You go, this can't possibly be the same person doing all these different, studying these different things.
I know you. I can believe that you
so
are intelligent in many different areas. So yeah,
they're just very different. But anyway, so I was after my first year of college, I was in a summer tour, Western States tour. And I was stage managing for this show. And it was a small cast.
Jump in for a second? Because I won't say the school if you don't want me to, but I'm telling you, it is hardcore tough to get on a summer tour in this college. It is not easy whatsoever. I'm just saying, you have to be good. Go.
Thank you. Anyway, it was a small cast. There was only five people in the cast.
Which means extra.
And well, I wasn't in the cast to start with. I was stage managing.
Okay.
And then one of the girls got ill, and she just, it was like, okay, this is not working out so well. She was losing her voice. And so she went to the doctor, and the doctor, I can't remember what she had. I don't remember. I don't think it was mono, but it was something long-term like that. And so the doctor said, no, you're done. So at this, like, 10 o'clock in the morning, doctor's appointment, we found out she's out of the cast. And so the director and producer said, okay, you're on. I'm like, wait, I'm sorry, what? I mean, I'm familiar with the show, but
were you the understudy? Did you even know
the stage manager? I
okay.
hadn't studied any of the parts. I hadn't done any of that. I was familiar with the show from being around it every night, but I hadn't studied any of it. Didn't know the choreography or the blocking, and I didn't know the lines. I mean, I kind of knew, but I didn't know, like, I had not studied the show. I had just been around the show. So, it was, now mind you, was I 18? I was 18. And so I'm just this little thing, not, I was young enough to go,
oh, baby.
Oh gosh, this is terrifying, but okay, we can do this,
Yes.
And, so 6 hours later, I ended up going on stage and performing that night, and then every other night of the rest of the summer on the tour.
Wow.
And it was, but that place, I mean, here it is all these years later, and I still remember what it felt like to have my creativity really challenged and really had to step up, like, right now. That's one of the biggest differences, I think, in any field between a professional and amateur, is just how quickly you can pick it up and how quickly you can do it. I mean, you give me enough time and I can figure out anything in Excel, but it's going to take me a long time because I don't do it all the time. I can do basic things in Excel because I do that all the time, but anybody can figure it out eventually. But a professional is like, oh, okay, yep, we did it. And even if they're doing something new with it, they can just pick it up like this. So it was just the feeling of being so alive. And I think that's what creativity does for us. Whatever form the creativity takes, it just helps us feel that aliveness. Like, this is, to quote Greatest Showman, this is me.
Yeah.
Well,
even things like, so I love classical music. I grew up taking classical piano. And one of my favorite things is when I hear another, like, a piece of music that I haven't heard before, like Bach or whatever, I'll think, oh my gosh, I am so grateful that I get to hear this music. One of my favorite things to do, like, when I don't live in San Francisco, but when I lived in San Francisco, one of my favorite things to do is at the symphony there, you can, there's the orchestra and there's the people. And then if they have singers, choir or choral groups, they sit above and face the audience and can see down. So sometimes when they don't have those, they sell those tickets. And they used to sell the tickets when I went. I checked, they're still not more than $20. The tickets, you had to wait in line, but you could get the tickets for like $6 was then. So I used to wait in line, and I would go. And one of the conductors for the San Francisco Symphony was Michael Tilson Thomas, and he was very famous. Yeah, he's still alive. He's not, but he's not the conductor of the San Francisco Symphony. But he loved doing Mahler. That was his favorite thing to conduct, that he said. So one day I went and sat up there, and he wasn't always the director. He was the director that time, and he was doing Mahler's Fifth. And you could see his face. I don't know why these were cheap tickets, because these were like the best seats ever. And you could see his face, and the music just, filled up, and you could see every excitement, every thrilling, every quiet, everything that he wanted from that symphony. You could see it on his face. And I just remember sitting there. And when somebody ever asked me, like, what was your favorite concert? I don't say, whatever. That was my favorite concert. And I remember sitting there and thinking, I am so glad that I am alive. Like, isn't life beautiful? And like finding those. So is that creativity? Is that me playing? Nope. But like finding that thing that touches that creative part of you, like that, those moments, I've had those moments where I've been somewhere or been to a theater or whatever, and just seen something and thought, oh, it just touches you and think, thank heavens I'm alive for this. So anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That
yes.
is nourishing your soul.
Yes.
Yes.
That, yes.
Yes. And then the third thing is to soak up nature. And that can be, depending on where you live, can be an easier or hard thing to do, but there's just something about getting, especially like grounding ourselves, if we can be like barefoot in the dirt.
Oh my gosh. You sound like Gabe Kapler. Gabe Kapler is the.
Gabe. We had this conversation last week.
You chatting it up.
Yeah. We were just talking
oh my gosh, he has so many women after him now. But anyway,
I'm not after him, but he's just a friend.
Oh, okay.
I already got mine.
Thanks.
Better than Gabe.
Yeah, you have your own Gabe Kapler. Anyway, he says he loves to go barefoot on the field in the morning. He likes to go in the morning and whatever. The feels, yeah, feels that. But anyway,
yeah,
that's good.
It's not the manicured lawns of the professional baseball field. It's not really nature, but it's that concept.
Yeah.
It's that still, yes, it's his skin contact to this natural substance.
Yeah.
The earth. Yeah. Not called Mother Earth for no reason. But that nourishing, Mother Earth, she's nourishing
Kapler's feet
in the grass on the diamond field. It's that
outfield,
there you go. So okay,
in
that field.
It's Mother Earth.
No, the nourishment that we can get from Mother Earth, connecting.
Okay.
He's connecting, literally his feet of his skin connecting to Mother Earth.
There are people who love Gabe Kapler, like in a creepy, really creepy sort of way. If they heard this, which they probably not, but if they did, they're having like very romantic thoughts this moment. Gabe Kapler, barefoot, his skin connecting with Mother Earth. Just only because.
Well,
only
yes.
But I love going barefoot on grass too. So yes.
Just this week, I finished my class in the pool at the gym, and I wasn't on a tight time schedule because I normally have a call right after that class, but I didn't this week. And I thought, I'm going to go lay out by the outdoor pool. And so I went out and just laid on one of the lounges out there, and the sun was perfect. There's one person in the pool, so it's just this quiet little lapping of water in the pool.
That's nice.
Somebody had some music playing. It wasn't, like Zen music or spa music or anything. It was, I don't remember what it was, but it was something that was just a nice little background noise. And it was just, I just lay there with my eyes closed for probably 15-20 minutes and feeling the sun on my skin.
Give yourself permission to rest in the middle of the day.
Yeah. I was drying off.
Good on
you. It was, and every so often the breeze would come, and just feeling the breeze on my skin and feeling the sun on my skin. It was just like, I had no idea how much I needed this until I just laid here for 15-20 minutes with my eyes closed, just feeling what it felt like and listening to, it was. So even if you're connecting with nature, is just close your eyes and feel the sun and the breeze. If you can, go for a hike in the redwood forest like we can, because it's not too terribly far from us. Or jump over to the ocean like we can, because it's not too terribly far from us. But there are ways to do that, and it really is there. Oh my gosh, you can go down a serious rabbit hole with the studies of what good this does for you.
Even like in the middle of cities, there are parks. And things, I mean, Golden Gate Park and Central Park are giant, but there are, I'm sure in every city, there are parks. There's
Yeah.
parks in our little city.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that, and even if it's something as simple as no one, a little weed growing up between a crack in the sidewalk that's got this beautiful little pink flower or whatever, those moments that nature can feed our soul.
what about animals?
Yes.
What about like your pets?
Yes,
Does that count as nature?
they're part of, I would consider them part of, I
Well,
mean, the animal kingdom,
certainly
but
part of your
Yeah.
ability to
yeah, that
connect
connection.
and-
Yeah. Absolutely. And the next one, which we've talked about before in various areas, various things, is having an attitude of gratitude. When you were talking just a minute ago about not just experiencing that music, but that gratitude, just thinking, I'm so grateful to be alive.
Yeah.
That gratitude is what can get us through anything.
Yeah.
Friends referenced before The Hiding Place and Corrie ten Boom, and being able to find things to be grateful for in a prison camp in Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
If they can find gratitude there, we can certainly find it. And that, just recognizing that no matter how hard things might seem or feel, there's always something to be grateful for. And when we can find that gratitude, you want to talk about tapping into who we really are.
And I don't think, like, sometimes I like hear these like little, I'm not calling it a buzzword, but I hear these like words and I think, oh, the attitude of gratitude has to be, I'm grateful for, I don't know, like the food I'm eating on the table, whatever it is. Like sometimes I try to find 3 things to be grateful for every day. And sometimes they are a little crazy. You know, sometimes it's like, I'm grateful for the shades on my bedroom because they are like a golden color. And so the light comes through and it's golden. Like it's not, I don't know. Sometimes I think people think it has to be some lofty thing. Like I have to be grateful for a lofty thing. This one, I was always going to do this. I've never done it, but this woman took a picture. I don't remember her name. Sorry. Every day she took a picture of something she was grateful for. Oh. And at the end of and it was all kinds of things. It was like, you know, here, a pencil I needed or whatever, but she did it creatively. And so every day she had this picture, and at the end of the year, it was just, she had all these really beautiful, she was a photographer too, but we all are photographers now with our phones. It was beautiful. She had these beautiful pictures for the whole year of things that had happened, or, you know, just little touchstones or whatever. And it helped her, she said, with, you know, kind of find some purpose. So anyway, I thought that was a lovely idea.
That's a cool idea.
I know I was always going to do it, but I didn't. But yeah, I know better, but.
And then the last one we wanted to highlight today was just being kind, serving other people. When we can find it in us to notice somebody else's need and to do whatever's in our power to take care of that need, even if it's for something really that we don't know who we're doing it for. This is kind of a silly thing, but one of the things that I do, and I don't do it all the time, but if I'm in a parking lot and I see at a grocery store and somebody has taken their shopping cart and A, not put it away, but B, left it in a parking place so that now nobody can use that parking place. When I get in my car, I'll take that cart and I'll put it away, thinking, here you go, next person, here's a good parking place for you that somebody didn't do. And so just something simple like that. I don't know who it's going to be for. And it's not, is it great magnanimous of me to do that? No.
Yes,
I'm moving the park and moving the shopping cart.
I'm going to tell you something about shopping carts. You should put them by like the handicap parking things, because a lot of people like my mom who are handicapped, they, you know, she can go all crazy all around as long as she's got something to hold on to. And so a lot of people, she's always saying that that's like, you know, even before she needed it, she always put it there for people. So there you go. There's a little tip for helping those who are not as able-bodied. So just and I know if you just take a minute and think about
something that somebody has done for you, some kindness that you've been shown.
Mhm.
We can all think of that. And sometimes it may be a really big thing,
Yeah.
but the building blocks of our life are the little tiny things. It's the little tiny moments. And this falls into that category too. The little tiny things that we can just be nice.
Yeah.
When
Like let somebody in. Like if you are driving and they have their signal on, let them in. Like I don't understand how that's so hard, but I will tell you that I try very hard to do that. When you live in the city, you have to like
force away.
Yeah,
That's my place when I'm taking it.
No, I mean,
Oh.
people have to let each other in. Like it's the opposite. You don't have to force your way. You have to, like, people learn you have to behave a certain way or you can't. Nobody's going to get anywhere. So anyway, but I will say that whenever I need to get in somewhere and I put my signal on, I will always find somebody who will let me in. And I always feel like that was karma.
Mhm.
So, I think you should be kind without wanting karma, but there is such a thing as good karma.
And really, because what it does for us is it gets us outside of ourselves.
Mhm.
And that is.
And thinking about others.
Realizing that I may not be having the best day ever. I've been nothing but frustrated today. But here's somebody who has a little need that I can take care of. And so it gets us stopping thinking about all of our junk that's going on, and for a moment thinking about somebody else and their junk that's going on, and doing something for that, and that the connection that comes from that, whether it's somebody that we know or somebody that's not. I need to do this again. A few years ago, I was in this really lovely routine that in November, being Thanksgiving, one of the ways that I wanted to show my gratitude was I would make sure every single day that I did not just some little unintentional thing, but every single day I did some intentional act of kindness. And I need to do that again. That was just, sometimes it was, not directed at a particular person, but I mean, like one day I was going to my chiropractor and I thought, oh no, I have not made an intentional kind act today. So I stopped at Starbucks on the way to my chiropractic appointment and brought in a hot chocolate for the receptionist.
Oh,
and so this is not a big thing to do, but it was just some little intentional act of kindness, and it makes such a huge difference. It going back to that inner peace and that connection and the thing that we can have.
The connection too that we were talking about a little bit earlier. I know we're wrapping up here, but like how important that connection is for mental health, for our physical health, for for, I guess there's just mental health and physical, spiritual health, emotional, all of that, like how important it is to find the connection, usually friends and family, but even connection to others that we don't know, but just having
and really that all kind of boils down to connecting. It helps us to connect with ourselves. And a couple of really awesome quotes from the poet Rumi. When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a river of joy. And from Deepak Chopra, when we prioritize nourishment of our souls, our lives blossom into a beautiful symphony of joy, love, and purpose. How's that for a quote? So take some time to remember who you are and to connect with that, and to find what speaks to you.
Find who you are. Like sometimes you don't remember who you are. You're so busy. You've got so much on your mind. You've got so, work or family, whatever. Sometimes you don't even know who you are.
Oh God. So when I was in the thick of raising children, I remember I got to a point where my kids were just a little bit older and I could like leave and go do something. And I was really in the thick of it because I homeschooled my kids during that time. So I was like almost never away from them. Got to a point where I could leave my kids. And it was so sad. I didn't even know. It was like, what do we even want to do? What do I even like to do? I really didn't remember. It's like, oh girl, this is not good. I need to reclaim that self.
And these are the things, like these are like the building blocks of how to do it. Really.
So we love you. This is where you really are in this nourishment of your soul.
Mhm.
So do that.
Yeah.
And you, yes,
No.
you will find your light shining brighter as you do this. This is where your magic is, and only you can bring your magic.
Mhm. Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful, beautiful.
yes, nourish your body this week, especially. Nourish your soul.
All right.
Until next time.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Hey, it's Tracy. If this was helpful and you'd like more, follow me on Instagram at tlastel.nourishingbodyansoul, or on Facebook or YouTube at Nourishing Body and Soul, or you can find my website at nourishingbodysoul.com.
Okay, so this is embarrassing because I've always made fun of people who did this, but
Like and subscribe.
turns out it's important.
Well, it's important because if you like what you're listening to and seeing and you want to find it again, it makes it easier for you to find it. And then also it makes it easier for other people to find it.
Mhm.
So if you like us, like us.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like put a ring on it, like
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Then like and subscribe, and it'll make us easier to find. Thanks for tuning in to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Before we wrap up, we just want to remind you that the information we share in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended for medical advice. While we hope you find our discussions helpful, we strongly recommend that you seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, or any other aspect of your health. We also want to make it clear that the host, guests, and producers of this podcast are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences that may result from the use of any information or suggestion discussed in this podcast. We care about your well-being, but we can't take responsibility for individual outcomes. By listening to this podcast, you agree to indemnify and hold harmless the host, guests, and producers of this podcast from and against any and all claims, damages, liabilities, costs, and expenses arising from your use of the information provided in this podcast. We're so grateful for your support, and we hope you keep listening and learning with us. Thanks.